Hello and welcome to another Unreal Engine 5 video. In this video, we will set up the damage and destruction of the tank and health system. First, we need a new projectile. We already made one before, but I will make it again. Start by adding actor. Code, name it BP T72 shell. Now, for the setup of the projectile, we need first the projectile movement. Also, we need a collision sphere. This will detect the collision of the projectile with the environment. Because if you use the static mesh, it will cause problems sometimes. Does not detect the collision with other objects. Also, we need static mesh for the projectile. I will use this sphere that we made in previous videos. Decrease its size and change its position. Let's decrease it more. Also decrease the size of the sphere, make it 16. Let's check first the collision of the sphere. If you want to make it simulate physics, you need to activate the CCD, but now I will not make it simulate physics because we do not need it. Change it to block all, or change it to custom and block all except the projectile. Make it ignore the projectile because we do not want the projectile collide with each other. This channel I made before and other videos, but I will show you how to make it. It's easy. Go to the project setting, go to channel, here object channel, you add a new one and set the default value of it and then change it. For me, I made it block everything for the default response, and then I changed it in the projectile setting on the collision settings. Now we made the projectile collision. Now we need to set the speed, maybe 25,000, and the maximum is 35. Or if you leave the maximum speed 0, it will have the same speed as 25,000 all over the course of the projectile. I would not need another settings. Check simulate. Okay, now here we need to let's delete this. We need to set up the collision, or what happens when the projectile collide with other objects. Here I will use the add the on projectile stop node. On projectile stop, we need to add explosion. System at location. Break the hit result here. We need the location. I will take the rotation from Z. for the rotation, because the Niagara system uses the z-axis as the primary axis. Here let's use any explosion. For me, I will use the this one. Now let's test the projectile. Let's change our projectile to the new one, T-72 tank shell. If you get this error, just click on refresh node, because the previous projectile had some variables that the new one does not have. Now let's just test the projectile. Sorry. How it works. Okay. Now we need to set up the damage. We use the node add or radial damage. Call it radial damage. If you need with fall off, the damage will decrease when the actor is away from the center of the explosion. I will use with fall off. Here let's make some variables for the damage and the radius. Damage, change it to a float. Sorry, float, not integer. Now duplicate it. We need radius. Also the fall off and the inner radius, and we need outer radius also. And here inner radius. The minimum damage, also let's make another variable for it. Minimum damage. The fall off, set it to 1. The origin, that is the impact point. Now the damage, let's say the base damage is 100. The minimum damage is the damage in the outer radius of or the farthest point from the center of the explosion. So let's make it like 25. And the inner radius, maybe 150. And the outer radius 500. Now that we set up the damage, we need to go to our tank and make it receive the damage. Type event radial damage. here we need two variables. We need one variable for the current health and variable for the maximum health, because if we need to increase our health, we will set the maximum health, or we will use the maximum health to increase the current health of the tank. Duplicate it to maximum health. The maximum health 100. The current health also 100. Now we can make let's make a function to make things more organized. Call it update health. We need one variable, the damage. Make it float. Now let's get the current health and subtract the damage applied from the current health. But first we need to check if the health is more than 0 before we do this. Greater than 0, because sometimes errors happens and the tank does not die when or it will continue apply damage if you do not put a check in the beginning of the function. Now need to check if the health is below or equal to 0 now. Before that, we need before we use this check, we need to update our health. When you set a variable, it means that you save this variable. So we subtracted the damage from the health and then we saved our health in the variable. Then we check if the health is below or equal to 0. If it's below or equal to 0, here we need to spawn an explosion for the tank and also destroy our actor and spawn destroyed mesh actor instead. First, let's call spawn actor from class. Now we need to make the destroyed tank. I already made it. It's easy. You don't need anything. Just make a static mesh. I will make it again now. Now let me delete it. Now we need an actor. Call it BP destroyed underscore T72 tank. Now what we need here is a static mesh and a Niagara effect. Make the static mesh as the root. Now there is already a static mesh for a destroyed tank in the vigilante content, and also there is a destroyed Niagara system for it, also already made. Now first we need to check also the static mesh if it has collision or not. Now we remove the collision, we make it again, maybe like this, or if you want you can make it slightly more complex. I think this is better. Also, by making the collision you can enable physics. You simulate with physics, because you do not want the mesh floating in the air or fixed in its place, and you can set the mass of the mesh here, but I will not use it now. Now what we need here is destroyed tank, T72, destroyed tank, location, spawn transform, get actor transform, and change it to always spawn, ignore collision. Also we need to spawn an explosion, system at location, let's choose any explosion. For me, I will already lose this. Let me see how it looks like. Maybe I will use this one. For the location, we will use the transform, break transform, and use the location and the rotation. Now after that we need to destroy the current actor. Before you destroy the actor, you need to unpossess it, because if you are using the tank and it gets destroyed, you will have some problems, and let us test it first and see. Now I think we are finished. Let's get the function received damage. Also I will add print string it's here. I will add a check for the health to see if it's decreasing or not. Now let's put another tank here and make sure it does not move, and let's test now. It's destroyed. Let's check if it's physics. Now let's check if it shoots at us. For me, I already made an AI for the tank. I will make another video about it. Let me check if it shoots at me and if it will destroy my tank. And I will make it. Let's see. Okay. This system I will make another video about it, how to make the tank follow spline and follow the player. Let me just make it. Let me just take the tank here and start. Don't worry, these errors for the AI of the tank. Because I didn't set up the nav mesh. Let me show you what I mean, because if you are controlling the tank and your tank gets destroyed and you do not unpossess it and possess the destroyed mesh, you'll have some weird problems. It was not important, but for the visuals it will be better. Let me show you. I set up this AI to shoot me and destroy my tank. Destroyed now, but with the camera it does not follow the destroyed mesh, so don't worry about this error because my tank got destroyed. Also we forgot something, that after collision we should destroy the projectile. I will add also the sound effects and also make a projectile that spawn different explosions according to different surfaces. So what we need is go back to our update health. Before we destroy our actor, we need to unpossess get player controller. Unpossess. Or make it before we spawn the destroyed. And here we need to possess possess We need to change the destroyed class, change it from actor, because the actor is unpossessable, not like pawns. Pawn and characters can be possessed. So just change the parent class here. You go to the class settings and go to the parent class, change it to pawn, go back here, refresh this node and connect the nodes. Now when our tank gets destroyed, the player controller will possess the destroyed. Just need to add some. We need to add spring arm. Sorry. Here. Location. Make it 150 and 1200. Add a camera to the spring arm. Also, if you want, you can make a spring arm with control rotation, and here on turn and look up, add control rotation. For turn we need 0, and for the look up we need the pitch. Also, one final thing before I finish the video, go back to the shell. Here, go back to the tank, to the damage. We need to add a check to see, to check if the damage value is more than a certain value that we set, because if you don't use this check, any projectile will damage your tank. Like we saw, the bullets destroyed my tank. So check if the received damage is more than 30. If it's true, it will change the, it will add damage. If it's small damage, it will not decrease health. Now if you now shooting me does not affect me, my health does not decrease. Only when the cannon. I think the video is becoming long. I will stop now. I will make another video with completing the projectile. We need to add, before the other video, here it's a simple things. Let's add the radial force. Radial impulse. And change the target to hit component from the break hit result. The radius will be the outer radius. I increased it to 1000, and the strength, let's start with 1000. Also make a velocity change. Let's try. It is working. We need to add a check, because if you are controlling your tank and you destroy the AI tank like this, you see, you possess the destroyed mesh. So to fix this, we go to the to our tank here. We make a variable, call it if AI controlled, and make it instance editable and expose on spawn. This because I made this before when I made the AI tank. So you make a new boolean, call it AI controlled, and make it instance editable and expose on spawn. And you bring it here, get the boolean, and make a branch. If it is AI controlled, we should not make the process of unpossess the player and possess the destroyed mesh. But if it is controlled, we just spawn the destroyed actor and destroy the the AI tank blueprint. Spawn, transform the same. So here, when you put the tank in the level, you check the boolean, make it AI controlled. So when you destroy it, sorry. I'll have to be fast. I'm very bad at. Now it's destroyed, and you do not get the previous error that we had. And this error is, let's see. This error happens because we destroyed the tank. Let's add a valid node. If the primitive component is valid, so it will add radial impulse. If it is not valid, just destroy the actor, the shell. We made this change in the shell and the tank shell blueprint. I think now we finished the video. For the next video, I will make the UI for the tank and some improvement, like adding the sounds for the explosion, and maybe if we have time in the next video I will make the dynamic impact effects, like spawning different impact effects according to different surfaces. Thank you for watching. See you next time.